So hey guys, welcome back to my podcast, A Moment with A. So as you guys know, my name is Akile, and yes, that's from my theme song. Mm-hmm. So I'm just so excited to be back for season 2 of my podcast. Like, I just cannot believe that this has manifested and like grown into something so huge. So, like I said, if this is your first time, my name is Akile Hughes, and I'm your dope host. And I have an awesome round table with me today, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. So, first is Saskia, also known as Sassy. And you've actually heard Sassy's voice before if you're a loyal listener. Mm-hmm. And then next we have my homeboy Mark, this great man of God, Holy Ghost. And if you listen, you've heard his voice as well. And then we have Aliyah, who's a new addition, but I'm so excited to have them on board. And they're actually going to be here for the next few episodes. So this will be our consistent table for a while.
Love it, love it.
So as you guys know, a lot has happened in my life since I originally started A Moment with A in February. So I know everybody want to know, what's up, what's going on, what's new in your life. But it's okay, so I'm about to go ahead and give you guys a summer in review. So basically, what have I done this whole time that I've been on a hiatus and getting ready for season 2? Well, the most thing that everyone's really looking forward to is hearing about what happened with my marriage, and is she still married? Where's her husband? I don't see him on her Instagram. Like, someone literally DM'd me and was like, and they were like, hey, I don't see your husband on your page. Are you still married? And I haven't talked to this girl in like a year. So it was so I didn't respond, obviously, but no, my ex and I are no longer together. We're getting a divorce, and it's not my ideal situation, but it is my situation. So all I can do is just be great and always be closer to God. I wish him all the best in his life. Like, I'm never gonna wish anyone harm or negativity or anything like that. So yeah, that happened.
Are you still open to being friends, or like, is there any communication?
No, I mean, there's no really need for it.
I understand.
But I do plan on telling my story, but it will always be from my experiences. It's never like my goal to make someone else look bad or anything like that, but my life is my life. So yes, going through the whole process of Jesus, of getting a divorce, is a lot. It's kind of like you have to go through 2 divorces. You have the natural one in the world with all the paperwork and assets and dividing and splitting, but then you have the spiritual one and the emotional one, and that one is that one is something. But
you're getting stronger.
I am. But it's definitely been a process, and I'm just so grateful for my support system. My friends are amazing. Like, Sassy is amazing. Joella and Sam and my church family, like, I'm just blessed to have such great energy and great people in my life at a time where it's like, when you feel like everything's falling apart, but it's really falling together, because God is dope.
I like how you put that together. That was nice. That was nice.
Don't cry.
I was just a little emotional when I mentioned it.
But guys, I promise you, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be great. I'm going to flourish, and God's going to use me to do great things. And that's really awesome. So I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you guys. But on to something positive. Your girl is graduating.
Hello.
Yes. In December, I will be graduating. I said, college, deuces. I'm tired of you. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. Like, let's get on to the next level. So even when you're going through something bad, positive things are still happening every day. So summer in review, that's what's going on. But what have you guys been up to this summer? Anything significant you want to tell the listeners?
No.
Well, everyone has to tell me something interesting you did this summer.
Okay.
Starting with future preacher Sanchez over here, Mark.
Well, I mean, I have to testify. God has been opening a lot of doors.
Yes.
A lot of new things, going on. Serving in my church, and then something that I had not done before, which is lead a group of young people.
That's awesome.
Every Friday. So you really need spiritual guidance.
Yeah.
You need the Holy Spirit to be with you and to lead you in what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, because it's not easy to get to young people. You really have to know how to get in there and be a
personal.
good influence. But I praise God for that, and just hoping that all the glory goes to Him, and He just uses me as a vessel. And other than that, I do love music, and He has been opening doors for that too. I've been playing in different churches, and that's just happening out of I would say that He knows me and He knows what I like and love. So He just works through it, and I just don't. There's no forcing anything. It's just happening naturally. And when things happen naturally, that's when they best happen. So praise Him. I'm just so grateful and excited for the future. So God loves His children, and He keeps blessing them throughout their whole lives.
And my dog Mark is single. No, I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, he's a God-fearing man. He ready to settle down and get married. So
good structure.
If y'all bone structure is on fleek.
No games.
Yes. So I'm just saying, if you guys want to slide in his DMs, but don't be on that. You gotta have a plan. You gotta be God-fearing yourself, because he doesn't have time.
Goals.
Exactly. So Saskia,
Hi.
Sassy.
Hey. So this summer, you know what I did. So I worked here at a camp called Camp Vision. It was for kids from 5 years to 12, and it was amazing. Like I didn't know I was making that big of a difference until the last day, when a few of them were leaving and they started crying, and I'm like, oh. And Lady Martin, which is the pastor's wife, of course, at this church, she sent me a card and told me that I made a really big difference in their life, because some of them have been rejected and bullied at school, and I just showed them love, and I was like, whoa. And that pushed me, because I was being really stubborn about like working at my church with the youth. So that pushed me to start like a safe space for young girls. And that's what I did this summer, and now I'm working with the youth at my church.
Awesome.
Love that.
God. Growth.
Awesome.
Aliyah.
Yeah. So
Aliyah literally has the cutest personality in the world.
So I don't have anything as monumental or life-changing as my fellow colleagues. But let me just say something, okay? Usually during the summer, it's not the best season for me. I'm usually not able to hold down a job just because it is summer. So the fact that I have a job and I've been able to go to Atlanta just for 2 days, okay?
That's awesome.
It was kind of cool, Atlanta's kind of just like Florida, except for it's like super hilly, but anyways, I'm super grateful to have this job, and it's a job that I can definitely see myself excelling at. So that's different for me. That's just a whole different spectrum. I feel like God has placed me here just to see if I will quit, just to test me. And it's like, I'm not gonna do it, okay?
That's awesome. I'm happy. Yay.
Thank you. No, I don't hear that a lot.
Oh
so
my gosh. I'm happy and God's happy.
Yes.
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 He is. I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm not where I want to be, but I see the goal. And I have to keep pushing. It's going to be fine. Guys, I'm going to be fine.
You're going to get there. You're going to get there. Okay. Well, obviously, we all did some great things this summer. We did some great things this summer, and I'm so happy to see everyone thriving. Okay. But this season's gonna be a little bit different with how we do things. So I'm really gonna do a lot more segments because I feel like some topics you just can't do in one episode. It has to be like, you know, a series because I'd be having more stuff to say. So given my newfound singleness and all this new arena and dating, it's like, how do you even date in 2019? Like, do I have to feed it and like take it out? And oh my gosh, it sounds exhausting, but we have to do it. So I really started thinking about just everything based on relationships. But my first series is going to be called Sis, This Ain't It. And thank you. So we're really going to dive into the different aspects of a relationship, and especially being a millennial, especially being a Christian millennial in this world and trying to navigate through relationships can be really tough. So the first episode is going to be called Know Your Worth. Period, Pooh. And we're really just going to talk about what does it mean to know your worth in a relationship. You know, like, how do you know you're holding yourself up to this standard? Like, how do you love yourself more? And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I feel like we might as well just hit the ground running and just get it out of there, because I've learned a lot about myself during my relationship, and I'm in therapy and everything, and we talk about it, and I think like, wow, maybe I didn't value myself the way that I thought that I did. So I was like, you know what? We should talk about this. And that's what we're going to do. So my first thought question that I really want to know is, what is self-worth? Like, what is it?
I thought we were going around. Alright.
Well, what do you think it is?
Okay. So for me, self-worth is basically knowing that I am enough. Like, not needing anyone to feel like, you know, to complete me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So loving me for who I am and just, yeah.
I like what you
Simple for
said.
me.
I like what you said about being complete, because I feel like in this day and age, there's this whole concept of like, oh, I gotta find my other half.
Right.
I gotta find this person to make my life complete. But
Right.
it's like, baby girl or baby boy, you know, this is
Right.
not, you know, just for women. It's like, you are a whole person by yourself. And like, if you have this idea of like, oh, well, I have to look for something else to make me feel whole, you're already starting off completely off. You know?
I feel that, you know, when people have like either low confidence in themselves, like low esteem, it really affects the way they look at themselves. So, you know, they try to seek validation from other people, you know. They ask other people, you know, do I look good? Or how do you feel about this? So their opinion and their own opinion and their own belief isn't enough for themselves.
Yeah.
They need to seek approval from other
Right.
people, and sometimes it's not just approval and advice for, you know, life decisions that they're gonna make, but for who they are too. So if you're stuck in a relationship, let's say that you feel that like that person is kind of not really, you know, showing you your worth or putting you in the place that you deserve to be in, you're like, well, you know, why and what do I have to do for that person to actually notice that I'm, you know, worthy? You know?
Yeah.
But that person can't answer that.
You're right.
You need to find that within yourself, and I think that comes through, you know, with time, through life experiences. Comes a time where you're just
I don't like the subject.
It's a tough one, and it's really sensitive because it really makes you think. Like, what about you, Leah?
I mean, yikes. For me, I used to think that, oh, people that have like a high self-worth or high self-esteem grew up in a two-parent household. They have mom and daddy there. And then it's just like, no, that's not the case. Because if I wanted to be a hoe, I can be a hoe, regardless if I was raised right or not. So I think it really just comes down to yourself and how you see yourself. I don't know. I'm still learning my own self-worth, just because in the relationships that I've had where I've been intimate, I found myself compromising my morals, my values. It's just like,
Girl.
do you really love yourself?
Yes,
do you
yes,
really
yes,
love
yes.
yourself? No. So it's a work in progress.
It is, and I think the biggest thing that I've concluded that I've gathered from my entire marriage, my entire relationship, is that we have to rely on God more.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like the one thing that's never going to change. And I think about God sometimes, and I'm just in awe. And obviously, if you guys follow me on Instagram and everything, you saw my devotion for today, and it just really stuck out to me how it says He knows every head on our head.
Yeah,
like every hair is accounted for, and it's like someone loves me like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does that make Him feel when I link up with someone that doesn't value me the same way that He does? Like we're more precious than rubies and jewels. Like He thinks
we are the treasure.
So it just gets me when it's like, wow, like I want a love like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah. But in order to honestly achieve your self-worth, you have to get intimate with God. It wasn't until I found my relationship with Him, I was like, this is what it means. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Even like when growing up, like I knew my parents loved me. I guess it's a culture thing, but they never said it out loud.
Same.
Yeah, so like, having like kids that grew up like me, so they just like will look for that love somewhere else. If someone comes and say like, hey, you are beautiful, or I love you, it's just like, oh,
yeah,
I've
we're
never
married.
heard this before.
We're married.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, just like you were saying, it's like finding God. I mean, now they are getting better at it, but it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Because your parents will say they love you.
Yeah.
They really don't. So, like when I found, also like surrounding yourself with positive people, like finding God and knowing that He is the one that can only love you the way you need to be loved.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of soul searching
for it and chasing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's really interesting that you guys are mentioning, finding God. There's this passage in Luke where you have Maria sitting at the feet of Jesus, just glued to Him, listening to every word that He's saying. There's like nothing else going on in her mind. She just is focused on Jesus. And then you have Martha that's just running around the whole place trying to fix things and just worrying, like, why you guys, this place is a mess, like what are you, and she even got mad and she told Jesus, why, can you just tell her something, like she's not even helping me at all.
Right.
And Jesus goes like, oh, Martha.
Martha.
You were like, and this applies to our lives. Like Jesus is telling Martha or Mark or Akila, he's telling her, why are you so stressed about these things?
Why are you doing the most?
And why are you doing the most? And the thing is, if only you were alone, I get it, you're alone, you're worried about these things, but I'm right here in front of you. And you see Maria, and she's like, she knows what's important.
Right.
She decided to hold that which nobody can take away from her, which is Him, which is the Word of God, which is God. And that's, when we're in a relationship, like a toxic relationship, or we're with somebody that doesn't value us, sometimes we go crazy.
Yes.
And like, say, if that person that you like doesn't answer the phone, you stress out. What I have to do, you keep calling, or how do I convince them that I'm good enough?
Yikes.
There's no convincing going on.
Yeah, you are preaching.
Listen, like, and when you, like you guys said, you find God, you have that valuable gift, that blessing in your life, which is Jesus. Nobody can take that away from you, right?
Yeah.
So you're already blessed in your life.
Yeah.
So for whoever comes in your life, that's an add-on.
Yeah.
You're
They'll be able to see your worth.
Blessing on blessings, and just keep on blessings. But it's not like, okay, well, I'm with this person, I depend on their opinion to feel good. No, you have Jesus, and
Right.
that's ultimately and forever enough. It's enough.
Well said.
Yeah. And it's only something that you can determine. You know, I hear a lot of what we said tonight. It's like people like to look to other people for validation or for love or for support, but it's like, if you know that you're the ish, then you're the ish,
right.
you know, and no one can take that away from you. Like, if I know what I bring to the table, I bring X, Y, and Z, and you don't appreciate my X, Y, and Z, then bye.
Right.
You know? But how do you know if you're valuing yourself in a relationship?
How do you know if what was the question?
If you're valuing yourself in a relationship.
You know, sometimes you don't realize how toxic a relationship until you out of it. So for me, I did not realize, like, I didn't know my value until I was out of my relationship. Like, I did not realize it while I was in it. So now that I know, going to the next relationship, then I'll know what I'm bringing to the table. I know to say no when I really want to say no, and I know not to set up for anything else.
Yeah.
You know? So
we love to compromise.
Oh yeah.
You know, because like we're taught that like, oh, like you're getting married, it's all about compromise.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we take that to an extreme where we start to compromise. Because I knew off bat, like I'm not compromising God.
Right.
Like I'm not compromising the woman that I'm becoming to accommodate for your fleshly needs. Like it's not happening. So that you can't compromise that.
Yeah.
I feel like some things you have to have a strong yes or a strong no. You can't be lukewarm with it.
Yeah.
You know, like compromise. It's like, okay, how many children do you want to have? You know, you want to get married here. You want to get married there.
Right.
What
Which
are
movie you want?
You know, what are we eating tonight? It being those are compromises. What not like? Are we going to church this Sunday? Are we serving? Do you love the Lord? Like,
Is he your savior?
You know.
And
Like,
that's one thing too. Like sometimes we get in a relationship and do not invite God. And in the middle of the relationship, like,
let's bring him in.
you know, that was me.
It doesn't work that way. If the relationship is not God-centered, from the beginning, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Trust me, it doesn't.
I feel like if you get two people together and say you like a girl and we start studying the Bible together and we pray together and that's that, like we keep it at boundaries and everything, that's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start. You don't want to skip steps. What are you gonna save for later?
Yeah.
You're skipping steps. And I think with that being said, saying no is a big one. At least for me. I used to struggle a lot with compromising. Like if I had to say no, I would think a lot about how that person would feel about me neglecting what they're offering, or like just saying no, I don't want to do that. And now I've learned that you have to say no to a lot of people in order to say yes to yourself, and in order to say yes to what God wants to bring into your life, because you can't receive God's blessing holding on to a person or your past or whatever you want happening in your life, because us humans, we always want to have our own plans, and we always want our ways and what I want, but okay, and you're gonna hold on to that and God's saying when you decide to let go of that and have open arms to what I want to give you,
I can provide this for
then
you.
the blessing is gonna set forth. But then otherwise it's it can happen.
Oh, my turn.
Oh, did you have a thought?
Oh no, not at all.
I like what you said about like how basically we can be in a situation that God didn't put us in, but He'll leave us in that situation until we're ready to leave it, and then He's just kind of there, like arms open, like, "Hey, baby, boo."
Right.
It's about time with your disobedient self. You never want to listen. I really cannot wait to have conversations with him.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious. I know he is.
He has to be. But it's really true, and what Saskia said about sometimes you don't know when you're not valuing yourself until you get out of it, and then you can take a step back and be like, whoa, I really did that. I really let him do that to me.
Right.
This really happened.
Just a clown.
You know. And then you really start to be like, wow.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of hit me, like, because we separated in April, and it was a really hard transition or whatever, because it's a lot. It's like having PTSD in a way. Grieving is like, can you be over?
Yeah. That's a lot of
Can you hurry up?
memories.
Do you mind? Yeah, but the more that I had time to think about it and pray, and when I was in it, I never felt like I could hear God, and it would like make me so mad, because it's like, why are you not talking to me? I know you hear me. He's like, new phone, who this? Like, do you mind? Like, can you, like, what do you want me to do? And then the minute I got out of it, it was just like, I could just hear him, like, plain as day.
Did
and
you
like,
fast?
No.
You should fast.
I know.
We can fast together.
Yeah?
No, for real. I'm big, so I'm not that. That's why you should fast. Of course not. But I do like the benefits.
I gotcha.
So yeah, we should definitely do that.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. You made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
You honestly did. I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
The self-worth.
But I'm sure what I was gonna say was good. But yeah, once you get out of the situation, I can see things a lot clearer. And I sent you guys this video. Did you listen to the video?
Yeah.
Okay. But there's this video. I'm gonna put it in the podcast notes on Anchor, and I really like it because the way that she really breaks things down about, like, are you honoring yourself? You know, because I feel like sometimes we expect, like, other things from people, like respect and love and value and all these things that we don't even give ourselves. So it's like, how am I going to expect you to love me, to honor me, to uphold me, to respect my body if I don't do it?
Yes.
You know? And that was just something else that I was thinking about, like, wow, I really was not ish. Like, I really was not respecting myself or my body or my morals or, like, anything in this relationship. And it kind of made me sad, low-key. But luckily, we serve a great God.
It's okay. It was done for a purpose, and you're probably going to connect with someone else.
I know.
Yeah.
I've never doubted that. I already know that, like, I'm going to be a bomb wife.
You are.
I really am. So it's okay.
Pardon me.
Guys, I'm sorry. Aliyah just has no type of chill. This is her first day. She doesn't really know the rules yet. But it's okay. Okay, but let's go ahead and move to our final question. How can we love ourselves more?
Health? Is that a good answer? Can you say that?
If it's a good answer to you, it's a good answer.
Well, you know, protecting the temple, right? You like that one, don't you?
With that one, I think I was talking to Saskia about this, with, like, the world and, like, our bodies, because sex is such a, it's just everywhere. Like, sex is literally just, like, out there.
Yeah. And
there's this whole concept of, like, if I don't like a guy, you know, if I just want to hook up with him, it's okay. I can just, you know, smash him, blah, 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 blah. But if I like a guy, then I don't have sex with him. I make him wait because I like him. But then I can have sex with, like, someone that I know I don't want to be in a relationship with, and it's okay. It's like, why is this like that?
It's a lot of lost sheep. They're okay. They'll be okay. They'll be okay.
It's weird. What do you think, Ed?
I mean, it's the world that we're living in now. It's just evident that, you know, things are going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Obviously, morally, more than any other aspect, people are calling that which is bad good.
I was just gonna say that.
And which is good bad. It's just the world that we live in right now. You know, sex and marriage, it's just the whole concept of it. It's destroyed. It's not.
It is.
You know.
Nothing is sacred.
My best friend got married, and I hope he's not listening to this.
Hey, best friend.
My best friend got married, and everybody knew in the group that he did not want to get married to this person. But he did so. You know why? Because
Did you say anything to him? You just let him do it?
We all said a bunch of things.
Hyped up.
Yeah, people were like, oh, why would, if you're his friend, well, I can't grab him and like take him off the altar and not, I can't really do that. It's probably against the law. But the thing is that he was making up his own reasons to why getting married would be good. But those were the reasons he was trying to make up. Because the real reasons why he didn't want to get married were already there naturally.
It's the world. If you don't get married by this time, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and he was like, it's a fear of, well, what if she was the one? Or what if I end up alone? Or what if it's 10 more years being single?
Oh.
It's like, and you rush into things that really weren't meant for you. Because you, in your mind, made them up to be for you. It's like a situational thing where you create this conflict that's not really there. Because you could be single and be okay. You could be with God, you can learn, you can grow as a Christian, you can submerge yourself into His Word and know His will for your life, and you gain patience out of knowing that God will be faithful. You don't get desperate when you know who's in control of your future. It's like if you try to take control yourself, you lose patience. We'll lose patience on ourselves, and our plans will most likely always fail. But God's plans never fail. And His purpose for your life will be there, but you have to allow it to be. So it's like, but I'm getting back to, marriage and sex today, it's like, God ordained a way for it, we're doing the whole opposite. I don't know why. It's just
this world that we live in, that I just feel like it's just so bad, and even with my ex and I, even though I had like a lot of doubts, I still kind of just went through with it, like, you know what, it'll be okay, it's okay if he's not, where it doesn't even matter. But but I feel like even like in our situation, a lot of people romanticize us, like, oh, this interracial swirl, you guys are gonna have pretty babies and all this other stuff that like it really starts to kind of cloud your vision. Or with me, I hate letting people that I care about down. So I was like, man, all these people came to this wedding, our spiritual parents, they poured so much into us. I'm gonna let all these people down because I can get my life together and this nigga's dumb and just all this stuff. But it's just noise. And this world gives you like these expectations. You have to graduate by this time. You have to be married by this time. You have to be married by 30. Like you have to have children, or it just means you're gonna have cats and just all the stuff that it does affect you. It's a lot of pressure that this world puts on us when God's like, give it to me. I got it. I know now that I would rather be single until I was 60, until God sent me the man that is made for me, than to like waste my time.
I like that.
Cause that's worse. Like being in a marriage that's not ordained by God is terrible. It is stressful. It is just the worst thing ever. So I feel so bad for your friend.
to add to that, we have to be really clear on the difference between a marriage ordained by God, because a lot of people say, oh, I found the one. Well, I found the right person. But think of it this way: if there was like an existent person, that's the right person for you. He was made for you, and you didn't marry him, and you married the wrong person, then you married somebody else's right person. So you know what I'm saying? So thinking that there's a person made specifically for you is I'm not saying that that's a bad thought to have. I'm just saying we have to be really clear. Sometimes you're gonna get married, and it's gonna seem like, okay, I made the worst mistake of my life, right? But I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That includes working on my marriage. Maybe every marriage is rough in the first years. I wouldn't know. I'm speaking of listening to people that have been married, and sermons and everything. Just knowing the difference between.
I'm never this popular. I really don't know what's going on. I really don't, like, he doesn't even call me. I'll just turn it off. I'm so sorry.
To finish my thought, I want to ramble. Know the difference between is ordained by God. I'm kind of doubting it because it's starting off to be really bad.
Yeah.
Or accepting that it could be bad at first. You just have to work on it with God in the center. So it's like just know the difference, and you can work any situation if you put God first. And you pray and you ask for His guidance.
I believe that. My parents, too funny, just fast. They met, and like 2 weeks later, we're engaged, and they've been together for like, I don't know, it seems like 50 years, but they've been together for like 20 years. I definitely believe they wouldn't be together if God wasn't in the middle of it.
And one thing with like sex and marriage, I hear a lot of young kids nowadays saying, "Oh, don't you test the water before you get in it?" And it's just like,
girl,
That's the way to ruin it.
I mean, it's reality. A lot of people are doing that, like, you know, and even as Christian too.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing I believe, if you meet someone that's supposed to be for you, have the same purpose, then they would with you.
Yeah,
Like,
because they want to know you.
Yeah, they wouldn't force you to do anything that you are not supposed to do, because God will be in the center of that relationship.
Yeah.
No, I'm not testing the water.
You can tell. Like, honestly, you don't even have to tell the water. You can tell if someone's has, like, you know, you don't gotta do all that. It's okay. It's just in their charisma. But going back to the question of how can you love yourself more? By keeping God first.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think that's the number one answer. The more time I spend with God, it's the more I'm just like, what? You love me like that? You know, like, you care about me like that. And then when you think about marriage, is where, you know, like, you're supposed to love your wife as Christ loved the church, and He would die for the church. And that is a heavy love to have. So it's like, I don't know, like, I just feel like that's how I'm learning to love myself more. It's the more time that I spend with God and let Him talk to me. So yes.
For me, is saying no more. Yeah, I do that a lot. Like, forgetting about myself, trying to please people, but thinking that I'm actually doing something good, but putting myself on the edge. So no, I'll say no more. Like, I'll be open to helping people, but if I don't want to, I'll say no.
Amen.
You know?
I'm working on that. That's always been hard for me.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
I know, but then it's like I think about what position is that going to put you in if I say no, but then I want to help you, but I really have to be helping my mom downtown, and then you said you need to go to Miami today, so I don't know how I'm going to.
But think about it. God doesn't want us to help others if we are not in the best state of mind.
True.
So if we are going to help someone and we are not right with ourselves, we're not going to give up like 100%.
Yeah.
So it's basically we're not doing something good if we're not happy with ourselves. So just
I'm working on that.
That's what I think. That's how I think about
And I'm
it.
tired of going to the bed angry. Just angry and upset. This person used me.
What would Jesus do?
Pray, sis, pray.
I want to say this. So, God says, you know, the first commandment, love God with all your heart, just love Him. And then He says, the second commandment, He's like, and this commandment is as important, you know, as, you know, like the first commandment, love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. But that's the thing. What's it saying? Like, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you can't love your neighbor if you love yourself.
That goes back to honoring yourself.
Honoring yourself. So the thing is that we want to put people first before us, and that's a good thing in a whole different aspect, like serving people, helping people. But when it comes to your life and putting yourself in a position where you're losing, where you're damaging yourself, you're, you know, negatively affecting yourself because you want to put others above you, that's toxic to your life.
Yeah.
And I was telling Akila the other day, like, you can block every toxic person in your circle, Instagram, Snapchat, but just to not allow that negativity to be in your life, right? But until you block yourself from being toxic, right? Until you block, Mark being the one who inhibits God's will to be in his life, if I don't block myself, then what's going on?
Yeah.
And to love is to know God's love. God's love, there's this love called love agape, which is always there unconditionally. It's like, even though it's not reciprocated, it's still there. God loves you even if you're like, you don't even know he's there. Yeah. He still loves you, right? And then there's this other love. I was listening to the sermon, it's called love. I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong, but is this type of love where it says, I know you're crazy, but I'm still sticking it out with you. So it's like when you meet somebody and you love her, a whole bunch of things about them, qualities and everything, she's so nice, but then you figure out, once you get to know each other, she's kind of crazy. But you know what? I still like her. Yeah. And I
makes you crazy too.
And maybe she thinks I'm crazy too.
Right.
So we're willing to work on that. But to love yourself is to know God's love, because our love as humans is conditional. It fades. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's the love of God that goes through us.
Right.
Is the one that works.
He's so dope.
And he showed us that when he sent Jesus to die for
us.
Yes. That's like the greatest love.
Hey.
Listen, if you're not ready to die on a cross for me,
No.
then obviously you don't value me. I'm joking. I'm joking. But that is a crazy type of love, like overwhelming, reckless type of love. Cues up song, but yeah. Any last minute thoughts or anything? Any little nuggets you want to drop besides guys? Just be great. Just honestly, like, keep God first. Yeah. Like Sassy and I are actually doing this 40-day Bible. Oh, sorry, I'm putting our business out like that. Okay. We're doing this 40-day Bible plan on just wisdom. So gaining wisdom through God, and it's just like really just opening up my eyes to so many things, and I'm just so blessed. God is just dope. And I'm happy that I'm learning how to love myself again in a better, in a healthier way.
That's good.
Thank you, Aliyah.
A little jelly, but it's
Don't
fine.
be jelly. You can do this too. We can do this together.
I'm a little dead inside, a little.
Right. We talked to our group chat. But in all honesty, yes, I think that's all we have for tonight. It's been a great roundtable, a great topic with a lot of laughter, because that's just how we do it. So I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in to have a moment with us to chat, and thank you to my roundtable. So yes, be sure to connect with us on Instagram. I'm gonna put all of our information in the podcast notes. But my Instagram is at AMomentwithA. That's me. I'm just still getting used to it. And join us next week for another awesome topic. It's gonna be on the same segment, so just a part 2, but a whole different topic, and it's gonna be extra dope. So yes, that's all I have for tonight. So have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.